No one listened when I told them my $250,000 prize bull was killed by some hotshot from Wall Street wearing a $3,000 suit. But I've got it all on tape, and the icing on the cake, the HOA Queen Diane sold hunting rights on my ranch, like it was her personal playground. I'm Ethan Caldwell, and this is the tale of how I took down not only Diane but her whole kingdom of greed. The Caldwell Ranch, 500 acres of superb Montana wilderness, close to Yellowstone, has been in my family for 3 generations. I'm 45, a widower, bringing up my 17-year-old daughter Mia on my own. Our cattle breeding program is renowned, particularly our champion bull Titan, a $250,000 monster who won nationals last year. Titan wasn't merely livestock, he was Mia's project, since he was a calf. A token of my late wife. Sarah's vision. Sarah encouraged us to go big on elite genetics a decade back, telling, "Ethan, we're building a legacy for Mia. She died of leukemia 5 years back, but not before seeing Titan's first ribbon every time that bull strutted across the pasture head high like he owned the world." I felt Sarah's dream alive life was quiet until 2 years ago, when the neighboring ranch went bust and developers turned it into Pineview Estates, a ritzy enclave for city folks chasing a rustic vibe without the dirt leading their HOA. Was Diane Mercer, a one-time Boston PR shark who swept into town after her divorce with her clipboard held aloft like a scepter. I met her at the county fair where she looked at our cattle booth with a smile that could curdle milk, Mr. Caldwell. "Your little operation is very quaint," she said, as if my family hadn't fed Montana for decades. Maya, sharp as a tack, whispered, "She looks at Titan like he's a lawn ornament." I ought to have paid attention to her instinct. First, Diane's gripes were nitpicky letters about my barns, gaudy paint, damaging her property values. I ignored them. This was Montana, not a walled subdivision, but Mia, an emergent photographer, ambushed Diane, snuck up our creek property line, measuring and jotting as if claiming title. I disregarded, dismissed buryist sieving season. Then on a cold April morning, a gunshot cracked, sounding off by the creek. I raced over, heart pounding, and discovered Titan, fell blood drenching his shoulder, his ragged breaths. My stomach churned. I phoned our vet, Dr. Lopez, and Sheriff Dan Tate, pushing my hands against Titan's wound, whispering, "Hang on, boy." Mia roared up on her ATV-spotted Titan and cried, "Who did this, Dad?" She struggled out, helping me calm him. I had no answer, but I vowed I'd find one. Sheriff Tate, who'd bothered me about a brush fire last year, sauntered up skeptical. "Trouble follows you, Caldwell," he said, glancing at Titan as Dr. Lopez struggled to keep him alive. I had shown him what I'd discovered: high-end rifle casings, fancy footprints leading to Pine View, and a piece of expensive cloth caught on my fence. Tate shrugged. "Poachers. Perhaps why shoot a bull?" He took sloppy notes, obviously not caring. As he departed, my phone buzzed with a text from Pete Walsh, a grizzled old rancher trapped in Pine View sprawl. "Ethan, your HOA ladies selling hunting rights on your land attached," was a brochure for Pine View's exclusive hunting adventure, with 700 acres of wild untamed wilderness for $30,000. A pop. Pine View was 200 acres. My ranch was 500. Rage burned through me as Dr. Lopez gave her verdict. Titan needed $20,000 in surgery with no promise he'd breed again. Someone was going to pay Titan's recovery. Consumed us surgery took 5 hours, the bullet barely missing his heart, but shredding muscle. We constructed a padded stall, took turns watching over him, and medicated with antibiotics day and night. Maya, tireless, pursued Boyne therapy. Rigging up a sling to take the weight off our kitchen became a command center. Vet log schedules, Mia's herbal pickuses, that even Lopez conceded, helped. Every milestone felt like a miracle. Titan standing upright for 10 minutes, limping towards the barn door, nudging his oak tree. Locals stopped by with pies and prayers. Even Pine View people, embarrassed by Diane, drew pictures for Titan's stand, an elderly spinster. Mrs. Carter read him verse, cursing. He understood by summer. Titan limped in the pasture, his limp permanent. His show day's overbreeding was a long shot, compelling us to expensive artificial insemination. But seeing him snarl at younger bulls, still king, energized my struggle. I marched Pine View's clubhouse brochure in hand and discovered Diane standing holding cord in her designer boots. Mr. Caldwell, you're confused, she sneered, showing a map asserting my creek was Pine View's. Her son Trevor, a 25-year-old law school dropout, spouted zoning rubbish, threatening lawsuits. Amaya, sneaky genius, taped it all. Diane called after us, progress waits for no one. Ethan, that night, I called Jack Reed, a retired lawyer neighbor who knew Montana. Land law, cold Jack's face clouded over the brochure. They falsified the maps. Ethan, this is fraud, but Diane's chummy with Councilman Hayes. Jack dug up our 1940 survey. Establishing our boundaries, Maya hacking Pine View socials discovered Victor Langston, a New York hedge fund, broing about his Montana hunt. Days ago, Titans shooting his boots matched the prints at midnight. Our new trail cams captured Diane and Hayes at the creek, flashlights sweeping my land. Laughing like thieves, this wasn't a spat. It was a heist. Diane sued me for trespassing and nuisance with Judge Larson. Hayes' poker buddy, I was hooked, but tactical. I hired Clara Halt, a feisty correspondent itching for a lead. Clara smiled at our proof. Diane's got a fraud charge in Boston that never panned out, same game Newfields. She began prying into Diane's ties to Hayes. Meantime, Diane loaded HOA fines onto my unkempt ranch, a run-of-the-mill agriculture survey. Prompted by a tip call, the inspectors unearthed nothing but one uttered, "Someone's leaning on us to pin you." Caught Mia Diane leading more hunters. Langston among them along our fence. I warned them off, and Diane scoffed, "This land's ours now, Ethan, stop embarrassing yourself." Mia's photos confirmed Langston's boots. Jack filed a countersuit for fraud and illegal hunting, while Clara uncovered Diane's campaign donations to Hayes and a shady LLC they shared. The first hearing was a disaster. Larson tossed our evidence, smirking at Diane's sob story about my harassment. I felt the system betray me. Then Mia broke the news, going to a Pine View friend she'd employed. Their clubhouse computer still logged on in the HOA admin account. Emails between Diane and Langston boasted of hunting a trophy bull on recently purchased land. My heart pounding, Jack claimed it was admissibly no hacking, just public access. But Diane got revenge with a police complaint of cyber theft against Mia Sheriff Tate. Grim arrived, I got to investigate. Ethan, Maya explained the open computer. Tate's distrust melted within Jack's office. We presented him everything: maps, brochures, Langston's posts, the emails. Tate's jaw clenched. This ain't what Diane said. The cyber charge fizzled, but Titan's vet bills skyrocketed. Clara's article struck, suggesting Pine View's dirty resining and hunting scam. Diane's press conference, clad in a bogus cowgirl gaita, portrayed her as a victim of my retro ways. But cracks appeared when she evaded questions online. Hunters revealed Langston's trophy obsession. An ex-Pine View employee leaked Diane's doctored HOA books. Another hunter, a tech mogul, sent me texts from Diane, offering rare cattle hunts for $40,000. No permits shown. Mia found Pine View's own rules, banning hunting, blowing Diane's lies wide open. Clara got council tapes proving Hayes rushed the map, changes unchecked. Tate, now Allen, probed the hunting racket. We set a trap. I mailed Diane a fake olive branch, proposing a meeting at a steakhouse. Tate wired us up station deputies, and Clara sat nearby, pen ready. Diane, Trevor, and Hayes showed up. Smug. Diane said she'd sell 200 acres, cheap if I let go of my lies. I played along, questioning the hunt. Trevor, anxious to flex, admitted they'd worked over maps for hunting profit. Hayes dripping. Let's slide. They'd planned VIP hunts. I slid Langston's rifle picture across. Diane accused Langston. Trevor spilled on map tweaks. Hayes promised $25,000 to mend Titan's wound, admitting his deaths to Diane. Tate swooped in with merits. Clara writing frantically, "You're finished, Mrs. Mercer," Tate exclaimed, flashing FBI documents on Langston's wildlife poaching. Diane screamed about illegal tapes, unaware of Montana's one-party consent. He slumped, grumbling about loans. Trevor chattered statutes to deaf ears. Diners applauded as they were handcuffed. Langston arrested in New York. Snitched on Diane for $50,000 to stalk Titan, thinking he was wild. The FBI implicated her in interstate poaching. Diane received 3 years and a $200,000 fine. Trevor's law dreams tanked. Hayes pleaded guilty, received 18 months. Pine View's HOA was dismantled. reformed with openness. Langston's $600,000 penalty paid for Titan's care, and a rancher defense fund. Tate apologized. We bent the saber. Maya's proof won her a journalism scholarship. Titan scarred, but obstinate sired calves. His line, thriving, Diane's prison sent a half-hearted apology letter now framed by Titan's ribbon pine views. New HOA apologized, locals rallied, and Titan's story went viral. A beacon for land rights. I give talks at AG conferences. Now Maya's photos in tow. The creek runs clear. Titan grazes his limp fading Diane's dynasty. Fell her legacy, a cautionary tale.